On Wednesday, March 3rd, representatives from the marine industry and tourism industry provided information to the Planning Board and the public about Portland's working waterfront, what's going right, the problems faced by the industry, and potential solutions were discussed. Standing room only at Merrill Rehearsal Hall, the public was informed about the history of Portland's waterfront and where it currently stands.
This first Waterfront Central Zone Forum was to provide the Planning Board with information from the marine economies. We had representatives from marine industries ranging from ground fisheries, lobster industry, marine tourism, marine science, as well as waterfront property owner, and the regulatory regime from the state. So the Planning Board had access to a panel of experts that is going to help inform policy decisions as they move forward through the Planning Board process and then to City Council.
When I consider the future of the Waterfront Central Zone, I'm guided by three fundamental principles. One, all the waterfront infrastructure must be improved, maintained, and replaced as needed to remain viable. Two, the waterfront as an area zone must be allowed to work and be clear that it is open for business. Three, if we as a working port want to, and I'm playing on the words of 1987, keep the port in Portland, quote unquote, and have a working waterfront, then we must be willing to come to the table to address zoning and land use policies periodically, especially in light of economic downturn all of the port and region are faced with today. If we can agree that these three principles deserve consideration, discussion, and action, then our waterfront may have a solid chance at economic success and maybe some prosperity in the future. At the end of the day, if the Waterfront Central Zone can earn sufficient income from the piers and properties that will allow ocean harvesting, which the other panelists have spoken about, and other marine-based businesses, rental rates they can afford, are we not doing the very best we can to ensure we'll have a working waterfront for many years to come? I submit that the marine economy on our waterfront today cannot carry the entire load of maintaining, rebuilding, and improving this waterfront. The load must be shared.
Tourism is currently Maine's #1 industry, generating more than $5.8 billion in goods and services to the state. Maine has more than 32 million annual visitors coming here and leaving their dollars and going home happy and spreading the good word about Maine and what we have to offer. Greater Portland is the second largest, most visited region of the 8 tourism regions in the state, with nearly 8 million annual visitors. I really think that seafood and lobster are one of the mainstays of what I am able to market as a destination. That's why people come here, for the fresh seafood and for the scenic beauty of Maine. It is a true story that we operate 5 visitor information centers in the Greater Portland area. And I happened to be out in one of our visitor information centers a few years ago when we were located in the Drummond-Woodson building right on Commercial Street. And I had a visitor, overheard a visitor asking one of our information counselors, how far was it to the waterfront? It's a sad commentary to think that they were within a few feet of what is our prime attraction and didn't know that they were there. So what I would say that what is not good for tourism is boarded up warehouses that have fallen down roofs that do not allow public access into some of the most treasured pieces of our waterfront. That if we're going to have a thriving community, that waterfront and that working waterfront is essential to what we have, but it also has to have public access to it. I think that when you can drive down some of our streets and not know that there's a waterfront there, that's a sad commentary. What is good about Portland's waterfront is some of the development that I've seen in recent years, what's been done at the DeMillo's Pier, being able to be a cluster of tourism activity where people congregate, people are able to sit on a beautiful landscaped pier and see pleasure boats and tour boats and the working waterfront happen right before them, and that is so essential to our whole overall economy in Portland.
Currently, there are a number of areas within the waterfront that can house non-marine uses. The question is, where's the balance between the non-marine uses and the marine uses? How much marine protection needs to be in place and how much non-marine allowances can be there before the marine industries feel squeezed and no longer have a place to conduct businesses. Because the fundamental policies that we work with is that marine industries, especially water-dependent industries, can't relocate off the waterfront. If they are displaced and don't have a place to go, they are gone. But there are a great number of places where non-marine activities can exist and do exist without interfering with marine activity. Those compatible uses are what's being fostered. We have a collection of pier owners that are looking to change the zoning. The planning board is now evaluating the policies that underlie that zoning because one, those policies are old. They were established in 1993, and the fundamental industries that those policies were protecting have changed a great deal. Current policies protect marine industry. Marine industries have undergone a great deal of change. The planning board is now looking at how those changes have impacted the zone, impacted the area, and what policy should be in place as they evaluate zone changes and development changes for the waterfront.
From the Merrill Rehearsal Hall, I'm Bill Blood for Community Update.